G'day guys, Casey from Lured In Fishing here. Today I want to show you another really good way to get some of our bigger flesh baits ready. So this particular instance got two little red rockets there, little red bait. What I'm going to show you today is how to do a butterfly on these. So really good way to present a nice, soft, pretty much boneless piece of meat for big fish. So rather than taking off a small little fillet, we still are left with really big, nice bait for big fish like big snapper, big gummy shark, big jew, all that kind of thing. Butterfly bait can work really well. So there's two different ways you can do it. One is essentially butterfly it with the tail or butterfly it with the head. So I'll show you how we prepare it both ways, and then what I'll do from there is show you how we rig them up on hooks. So nice sharp fillet knife. For our butterfly down to the tail, I like to just cut in behind the gills there, down to the backbone. Going to turn our knife, we're going to run our knife just on the top of that backbone there, just running it, just using the point of the knife. We're not going all the way through, we're just cutting the top here, pretty much down to the gut cavity, and then just running along down to the tail there, just that top section. Just slowly using our knife point, we're just going to continue running down until we can see our knife point touching that skin on this side but not breaking through it. So nice and gentle, and we can open up that side of our butterfly there. I then do my other side exactly the same. So we go down just behind the gills there. Once again, now what I'm going to do here, get my hand out the way. Make sure your fingers aren't sitting in front of your knife when you're doing this. Same deal, turning the knife on a 45, just working our way over the top of the backbone there. Once again, down to tail. Whoops. And once we get down there, we can just down to the tail there, and same thing, just opening up along the back there. Now we're then going to cut the rest of our stomach, so down here behind those little fins under his pectoral fins there. Same deal on the other side, all the way through and down. Right, we can flip our butterfly over then, and then just down here where it's still connected at the base of the tail, a little bit of light knife work, so flipping him around, just going to poke through one side to the other, just use the tip of my knife just to break through that, get rid of those guts, and then just using my knife to pin it down, pull it right down to the tail there, and then I like to just snap off the backbone. So that's our head and our backbone out of our fillets, and we are left with lovely little butterfly there. So both fillets of the bait, really nice, tough, durable bait. Tail on, giving it somewhere where we can hook him up, and that is our first butterfly. So our second butterfly, essentially the other way around. We're going to take off the tail, we're going to keep the head. So if you like fishing a nice solid head bait, bit of meat hanging off the back of it, this is definitely a really nice way to present the bait. So a little bit easier on this one. I like to start at the tail end of the bait, just kind of gently sawing back and forth, working my way in until I've hit the backbone. Then I'm going to follow that backbone all the way up, keeping my knife nice and flat. Just going to follow that backbone right the way until we get up to the head, just to there. That's one side done, so remove nicely off the backbone there. Flip him over and do exactly the same on the other side, down to the backbone, and then just sawing back and forth. Now working our knife up along that backbone. Take your time, don't need to press too hard, let the knife do the work. And now, once again, we're back up to the top of our head. So, now we need to remove our backbone, which is just in there. It's our backbone there. So, once again, just going to snap that one off. Bang. Cut off that little bit of excess skin at the top. That's our backbone removed from our butterflied fish there. One last thing that I like to do personally is I like to just take off these two little fins at the bottom here. They'll usually be on one of the two fillets. So knife under them, just pinch them with the end of your finger. Let that knife do the work. Pretty much cut that all the way to the gullet there, and then we can just cut through, leaving you with two beautiful little fillets. Got our whole head there. Can remove the guts if you'd like, or you can leave them in there for a bit of additional oil and scent. Now, to rig up these two baits on our hooks. Being bigger baits, we're going to use a snell rig. So, twin hook snell rig, just here. Now, with your butterflies, it's really up to you how you want to do them. With your head bait, I like to get my top hook here, and I open the mouth of the fish. I go in his top, the top of his mouth towards his nose. I just push that hook through that nice hard bony piece of the top of his mouth. And that is going to hold that bait on there really, really well. Gives you a really nice anchor point that's not going to pull out. So then that bottom piece here, our bottom hook, up to you. You can pin it on the outside of one of these, which is what I normally do. Pick a side, it doesn't really matter which side you choose, but it will offer kind of a nice tough spot for you to put in that bait. When I do this, I like to roll that top hook around, gives you a little bit more play, a bit more wiggle room. We poke our hook point just in the top of the skin there. Sometimes just use that point to remove a little scale. These little red rockets have extremely thick little hard scales on them. So once we're through, and then just bring that hook back out through the outside of our fillet. Roll that other hook back around, and there we have our butterfly head bait rigged up, ready to go. For our tail butterfly, once again, a few different ways we can rig this up. This is how I like to do it. Pretty much like to rig these up the same way that I do a whole pilchard, using a half hitch on the tail or a couple of half hitches on the tail. I roll my butterfly back together, so like I'm dealing with a whole fish. I come in the skin side about an inch down from the base of the tail, just before his little anal fin there. Now this is with my top hook. Into the skin there, back out the base, like so, and then I'll roll him over. Second hook here, just like our head bait. What we're going to do, pick a side essentially. You can go straight down the middle again. These open up at the belly, so I'm going to just roll that other hook around, go in, belly there, back out, nice and central. We have two hooks in our butterfly, and when that opens up, essentially got two really nice exposed hooks there. Then one of the reasons I leave the tail on these, same deal as using a whole pilchard, I'm going to make a loop with my mono line there, so cross it over, I'm going to go around that tail. Just going to pull that slack end now, just to make that loop nice and small, and do a little half hitch around the base of that tail there, so that takes the pressure off our hooks. So when we cast that out, they're not going to rip out. get a really nice presented double fillet using that butterfly technique.